Shalom everyone, this is Rabbi Yonatan with this week's Digital Devar Torah. Inspired by Siskel and Ebert, who used to sit in a theater and review films, I am reviewing this week's Parashat Pinchas. Who was Pinchas? Well, if you're thinking of Aaron, Aharon, Moses' brother, you're right, it was his grandson. Aaron, you might remember, had 4 sons. 2 died in a sacrificial accident. And the 2 that remained, Eleazar and Itamar, Pinchas was the son of Itamar. Well, in last week's Parashat Balak, we find out the story about Pinchas. Well, after Balak, the king of Moab, was unsuccessful in cursing the Israelite people, of course, Israel started doing bad things with the Moabite women. And it says here in last week's Parsha, and they invited the people to sacrifice their gods. Well, this was a problem. So Pinchas comes along and does something totally extreme. More than extreme. It was terribly extreme. When he saw 2 people coming in front of the congregation and doing something they weren't supposed to be doing, he put a spear through them and he killed them. Well, what does he get for this? Surprise, in this week's Parashat Pinchas, he receives the Brit Shalom, the covenant of peace from God. While the rabbis were so perplexed, why give Pinchas the covenant of peace when he had done such an act of zealotry, totally extreme, and something we would really not approve of? Well, the rabbis come along and they give us this explanation, which is, this was a very extreme situation, one in which called for drastic measures because the people were in great spiritual and existential danger. It would be better always, almost always, to seek the ways of peace. And so the covenant of peace comes along, according to the Ketav Sofer, to send Pinchas and all of us the message that the ways of peace are almost always better than the ways of violence. Of course, our tradition doesn't shy away from saying that peace and love are not the answer to everything. And sometimes there are real imminent threats, existential threats, that must be destroyed. And the rabbis wanted to say this was one of them. Was it? That's for each one of us to decide. But the point is very clear. Ways of peace and love are always preferable, but sometimes not possible. And then what we got to do, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.